names can make a child feel the way no human should ever feel. They can feel helpless, sad, sorrowful, and they can feel like no one loves them, no one likes them, or that they can't do anything right. No one cares for them, and that will make them feel like they are all alone. This is no way for anyone to feel, especially a child. Children are very influenceable at an early age. The feelings and emotions that they feel in childhood can haunt them the rest of their lives and affect them as adults. So what can cause these feelings to occur? In most situations, what causes a child to feel these feelings is a bully. Bullies are a common person in the younger age groups for many reasons.
Most people can relate to being bullied at one time in their life, and being bullied is not something you forget. It's something that sticks with you for your entire life. If you ask someone about an incident, they can typically tell you who bullied them, how old they were, and where they were when it happened, and they can certainly tell you how they feel. So it's important for us to keep children from having those sad emotions.
And I think what we have to remember that bullying is a behavior, it is not an identity. So with that in mind, we have to work and say, let's look at the behavior.
So 3 things to look at to determine if a behavior is bullying is physical, social, and verbal. Physically is the child hitting, pushing, kicking, biting. Socially, are they excluding, telling other kids to go away, you can't play here, you can't sit with me at lunch? Or is it verbal when they're doing various name calling or talking about members of their family? So those are 3 ways that children are bullied. After we determine if those behaviors, we then must determine, is there intent to do harm? Is there a power imbalance? And is it repeated over time? And if a threat is received through text or Facebook or other media outlets, and it's a credible threat to hurt, harm, kill, then that is considered a zero tolerance policy. So we have put that information on our school webpage and the school system webpage to let students and parents know that this is a very serious offense.
Understanding what bullying is and the different types of bullying are the easy parts. The difficult part is how we control or stop the behavior and finding the underlying reasons that the student is bullying their peers. Studies show that bullying affects boys and girls differently and that each gender actually bullies in different ways than the other gender. When boys bully, it is usually more physical, like pushing, kicking, and intimidating by using their size or social status. Girls, while occasionally do physically bully, typically bully by excluding and by using verbal insults either to the person or by spreading rumors. Both genders will show an alpha personality and usually will gain a group of people to follow them that are looking for acceptance or to not be bullied themselves. This in turn can sometimes result in the followers of the bully to mimic the bully's actions and behaviors. So what do we do to prevent or stop bullying? There are many things that have been done in the state and national levels. However, a lot begins in the schools and at home.
We had anticipated the law being initiated some years ago. In August of 2012, the state passed a law regarding bullying. This year in August, the law was expanded to include the reporting from each school district in the state of Tennessee. That reports would be filed and information would be given to directly the State Department of Education regarding those incidences occurring in each school system.
The Bristol, Tennessee school system has embraced the new bullying laws, and our motto is, if it's mean, intervene. Some of the steps that we're taking as a school system and at individual schools include training for teachers and training our students and continuing to incorporate anti-bullying information with our school counselor in guidance classes.
How this has filtered down to Haynesfield is that anticipation of these, what we did several years ago, we were always looking for ways to help children develop healthy relationships. And that really, when the law came to be, we were able to embrace that and build on what we already had in place.
All over the country, states and school systems are cracking down on bullying and violence in schools. The law in Tennessee states that each school system must put in place a system that is meant to help prevent intimidation, bullying, or cyberbullying. And there are many regulations that go along with the law. You can read the entire law for yourself at the website on your screen. Now that the state has adopted such a stiff policy, what has our local school system done in order to meet the state requirements?
Some things that we are doing: when I go into classes, I will present information regarding verbal, social, and physical bullying. We will give them a clear definition of what bullying is. We will use role play and examples, and we have just completed a school-wide assembly for that recognition. In the counseling curriculum, I go into classes pre-K through 6, and part of my job is to deliver the information to them, give them ideas, and teach them skills and words and actions that they can use to build those healthy relationships, because that's what it's all about.
The anti-bullying laws are important, and the Bristol, Tennessee City Schools continues to embrace those laws. I think it will help us continue to be more aware of what students are doing and what is going on in the building. So just taking a closer look and defining, is it bullying, is it rough play, or is it fighting?
The schools are working overtime to try to stop bullying in any way for any reason. However, there are others involved in the bullying process besides the ones being bullied. Students who stand by and watch this happen sometimes fear being bullied or rejected themselves, so they usually will say or do nothing to stop the act. As well, the other side of the story is the bully. There are always reasons why the behaviors exist, and not only should the bully be stopped, but there will and should be a search into why the behavior exists. According to StopBullying.gov, there are 6 key issues to cause a bullying behavior. They are aggressive or easily frustrated, have less parental involvement or having issues at home, think badly of others, have difficulty following rules, view violence in a positive way, or have friends who bully others. So what can be done to get students to stop being bystanders and get help? And what can we do to help stop the behavior instead of demonizing the child?
One of the most important things we can do to help bullying is to address the bystander. The bystander is the person who is watching the bullying take place, or they begin to participate in the bullying. Only 35% of students actually try to help. If they can stand up and learn to stand up to the bully or learn to get help, then we can decrease bullying activity.
What we must do, and what we are doing, is give them those life skills in order to solve the problems. That way, in the future, as they grow older, they will understand and they'll have a toolkit in order to solve problems, because that's exactly what it's about.
It is also important for us to identify the bullying behavior from a child and find out why that child is bullying. We need to peel back those layers and discover those underlying reasons so we can help that child stop that behavior.
I think with this recognition of our bullying skills and enhancement that we're doing, it will also give students feeling a sense of power themselves, giving them a sense of control. I can solve some of these problems. However, if it gets too big, I know that I have adults that I can trust.
Some of the things that you can do if your child is being bullied is talk to them about what steps they can take. First of all, we tell the child to say, "Stop, I don't like what you're doing. Stop, don't bother me." If they cannot speak up for themselves, we do ask them to walk away. We ask them to tell an adult, and we also ask them to tell an adult at home, because if we don't know that the behavior is going on, we can't stop it. Now, oftentimes, as teachers, we will see the behavior, but sometimes on the playground or at lunch, if behaviors are displayed, we might not catch it all the time. So it's important for the child to report an incident to an adult.
Now let's review some of the things about bullying that we discussed today. Now, bullying defined as harassment, intimidation, or bullying is any act that substantially interferes with a student's educational benefits, opportunities, or performance, that takes place on school grounds, on school-provided transportation, or at any official school bus stop, and it has the effect of physically harming a student or damaging a student's property, or knowingly placing a student in reasonable fear of physical harm to the student or damage to the student's property, or creating a hostile educational environment. There are 3 components to bullying. Bullying is unwanted aggressive behavior that there is intent to do harm or distress, involves a real or perceived power imbalance, and is repeated or has potential to be repeated over time. There are 3 forms of bullying. One being verbal, including threats and rumors. Physical, which can be pushing, kicking, or shoving. And social, which involves exclusion. For more information on how to recognize, identify, and stop bullying, visit stopbullying.gov or www.tn.gov, and you can find out more on what the local schools are doing by visiting the Haynesville Elementary School webpage at the site listed below. And remember, as they say, if it's mean, intervene.